Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, we definitely have a battle of the good old seasons taking place this week. Earlier this week, we had midsummer weather, temperatures in the 90s, many areas setting records across eastern South Dakota and the upper Midwest, followed by a significant cold front today where temperatures are dropping like a rock around the area. And by this weekend, overnight low temperatures are going to be in the 30s in many areas of the upper Midwest. So again, it's one of those things that you would expect for fall, but the one thing that you can also expect is the fall bite to turn back on. And with those cooler temperatures, that's going to allow the water temperatures to drop back to where they were. And with lows in the 30s, it's going to cool them off even more. And that's going to turn the bite on just like a light switch, and we need to be prepared for that. So again, be aware of that, and the bite is only going to get better from here on out. But this past week, the bite was off a little bit due to the warmer water temperatures around the area. The lakes that produce walleyes up in the Northeast included Bitter, and that was the place to be. Honestly, if you want to take a family out for walleye fishing, and I don't say this too often, Bitter's the place to go because you're going to catch plenty of fish. A lot of smaller ones, but plenty of action to say the least. Waubay is another lake that's been doing quite well. Lynn, also Midland, Hazelton, Drywood, that bite's kind of tapered off quite a bit. Big Stone, North Rush, as well as Dry Lake by Clark, and then also Reed and Pius produced a few walleyes this past week. Down the southeastern part of the state, the bite's been off a little bit more down here. The lakes that produce walleyes included Thompson, Ponset, Dry by Willow Lake, Sinai, Spirit, a few being caught there, as well as Whitewood, and again, that bite has tapered off. 81 Ponds, Vermilion, Madison, and Twin. And Twin, the bite has been best right around dusk and sunset times, and catching them from shore as well. Now, what have guys been doing to catch the walleyes around the area? A lot of snap jigging going on, which you would expect this time of year, whether or not you're using a hyper rattle or a moonshine shiver minnow or a jigging wrap. Other people are throwing jigs and swim baits, and we'll talk about that in Todd's tackle tips. A lot of people are switching over to a little bit larger swim bait right now and hitting the shallows. Other people are still trolling with crankbaits, such as the Salmo Hornets, the flicker shads, and then also people are still using slow death, using regular crawlers. And what they're also doing is using that technique to help find the perch. And when they come across the school of perch, they drop anchor and jig for the perch. And speaking of the perch, the bite has been a little bit off because of the warmer water temperatures. The lakes that produced perch this past week included Waubay, Big Stone, and again, Big Stone, quite a few perch being caught up there, but on the small side to say the least. Dry Lake by Clark, as well as Willow Lake, Pius, Thompson, Ponset, Whitewood, and again, that bite's off a little bit. And then also Madison and a Twin. And again, what people are doing is just basically jigging for them. Using drop chain lures such as the Haley or the Pilkey. Other people are also using tungsten lures like you would use for ice fishing. And then a few more people now are picking up this Z-Man finesse plastics that are really starting to produce some nicer size perch, getting away from the smaller fish and getting into the keeper size that all of us would like to have. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about swim baits and the size of swim bait that you should use this time of year. Now, I'm not going to say there's ever a right or a wrong size of swim bait to use. You use what is comfortable to you, and also what the fish are telling you what is the right size to use. But again, in the summertime, most people will even gravitate to a 3-inch or maybe even a 4-inch swim bait. But this time of year with the cooler water temperatures, those walleyes are going to start looking for larger baits. They're going to be waiting in the weeds and the shallows, waiting for that larger profile bait to swim by. And that's what you want to basically replicate with the use of these swim baits. And one of the swim baits that we recommend for this time of year, the Salmo walleye shads. This is a 4.7 inch swim bait, great profile, perfect for this time of year. And all you need to do is to team this up with the right swim jig, and you got a great combination. Another great bait for this time of year, the paddle shads by Berkeley Gulp. Now again, a lot of people don't recognize this type of bait, but it's been around for a few years. This is again perfect for this time of year to give you that presentation that you're looking for to catch those larger fish. Now, the third one that I'm going to talk about, we have plenty of other options. These are just 3 examples that I want to show you. But the Champ Swimmers by Berkeley Power Bait. These Champ Swimmers have been made popular and well known by John Hoyer, who won the NWT Angler of the Year and also the championship. He uses these Champ Swimmers throughout the entire year, as I did. They're a great bait to say the least. And people will fish these swim baits, including the Champ Swimmers, a number of different ways. You'll see John snap jigging them aggressively. That works many times. There's other ways to do it as well. So again, Fish them to where you feel comfortable fishing them, whether or not it's a slow retrieval or whether or not it's snap jigging aggressively. But the main thing is you need to make sure that you match it up to the proper swim jig hook. With these larger profile plastic baits, you're not going to go with, let's say, a VMC Moon Eye jig or a regular jig head. You're going to have a larger jig head to get down to a certain depth, and also, but more importantly, a longer shank hook with a thicker gauge hook. So that it gets through the plastic, and when you set the hook, it goes through the plastic into the walleye's mouth. So again, you need to make sure that you match up the jig size and the shank of the hook with the proper size plastic. So again, the perfect combination will definitely give you perfect success when you're out there. But again, don't forget to use these larger profile baits in the shallows this fall, because again, if you're looking for those big walleyes, that's where they're going to be hanging out. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, all you have to do is send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And before we end this week's report, I want to remind you, with the cooler weather, everyone's thoughts are going to start turning towards ice fishing. So mark your calendars, folks, for the Dakota Angler Ice Institute November 10th through the 12th at the Sioux Falls Arena Convention Center. This show is going to be bigger and better than ever, so you're not going to want to miss it. Some fantastic blowout specials that you've never seen before. So again, November 10th to the 12th, the Dakota Angler Ice Institute at the Sioux Falls Arena and Convention Center. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132, or you can also go to our show website, DakotaAnglerIceInstitute.com. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report for Dakota Angler. I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, and always stay safe.